Biggest issue I find with branding in general is the jargon, and I think that's where most small business owners get really confused. There's so many different words and phrases, which essentially boil down to the same thing. And in my experience, what I've found is whether someone says to me they're looking for a tagline or a slogan or a USP or a value proposition, what it essentially boils down to is they want a sentence for their website that sums them up succinctly, and kind of says what they does and differentiates them from their competitors. So there are lots of different ways of saying it, and what I'm going to do today is jargon bust for you and just tell you exactly what each of the different things mean, so that when you are briefing a copywriter, you can say exactly what it is you want. So the first one is a slogan. So a slogan tends to be advertising campaign specific, so it will change all the time. It's not necessarily part of your brand story or your brand strategy. It's specific to an advertising campaign. The next one I see a lot is tagline. So a tagline will sit with your logo. So imagine McDonald's, I'm loving it, or Nike, just do it. So it doesn't necessarily talk about a differentiator or a benefit. It literally just sits with your logo. It's either said with your logo or is written with your logo on your website. Value proposition. So this is the word I use when I'm describing writing a website headline. It can also be used for pitch presentations or kind of as part of your elevator pitch. So this is your biggest differentiator and the biggest benefit you bring. And the last one I see a lot is, or hear a lot, is USP, and that's your unique selling proposition or unique selling point. So that can be used in your website headline, but it doesn't necessarily talk about the biggest benefit. So it's slightly different to your value proposition in that it does talk about what makes you different, but doesn't necessarily talk about how that difference affects your audience and is beneficial to your audience. So those are the jargon busting tips for you today. And if you want to know more about reading headlines, you can check out my video on that.